It's 104.3 MYfm with John Camucci, and I'm here today with Rosa Linn. Rosa.
Hello.
I know you are so busy these days, so thank you so much for taking the time to sit down with me for a few minutes.
Absolute pleasure.
We were talking a little bit before this. I realized you were a foreign exchange student, and you lived in Wisconsin for a year before you're here, right?
Yes, what a way to start the interview.
Yeah, this is so curious to me because on our morning show, we just had a young lady who joined our team who's from Australia, and her question to me was, what is the American food that I need to try? And for me, growing up, I don't know, I'm so used to it that I don't know like what a good staple American food is. So I feel like since you've spent enough time here, what would your answer be of one of the better American foods you've tried here?
If it's very well done, like a very, very good steak, like like a steak, you know.
So is steak not anything like? Is it different than it would be in Armenia?
Yes, we make it differently.
Really? How so?
The spices or whatever, like it's just we're actually making like a barbecue out of any meat that's possible.
Slap it on there and cook it?
Yeah, just do it, and which is wonderful, by the way. You
Right.
have to try it. But sometimes you want the other approach.
Yeah, I
So,
felt like that's what
steak
we
is
did. I didn't realize we even put that many spices on things. I don't really cook things myself. I don't know if you're...
Me neither. I don't know how to answer these questions. I just know what's healthy, what's not healthy, what's tasty, and what's not. Which the second is kind of like more...
Right. Yeah,
important
that's...
to me.
I mean, that's all I know, too, to be honest. I want to talk a little bit about Snap. Obviously, it's been your past year so far.
Yeah.
I know you're kind of living this new life already. Do you still have those moments where you kind of sit back and you're like, wow, like, is this real? Like, do you still have any of those moments?
I do. I still don't feel like probably 60% of the time, I still don't feel like I belong where I am now in like a career place.
Right.
Because it's happened so fast. It's not that it happened to me in one day and I was like, yeah, blah, 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 blah. And then I, had this success. I've worked really hard towards it. But still, it was just like an overnight kind of like starting doing the radios and like interviews and then shows. And it's just very hard to process it if it happens like very fast.
Yeah.
So sometimes I think that. Sometimes I'm like, well, you deserve it, girl.
Yeah, I mean...
Why not?
I think it's clear how hard you're working. I think what I'm curious about is I get those moments where sometimes you're like, man, I don't belong here. This all happened so fast. Do you know what in your mind would make you feel like it's like you're finally caught up to where you think you are? Like, do you know what you're looking for?
I think just finding people that I'm, and it's more like collaborators and songwriters and people that I work with in the studio. Finding these people who make me feel like a rock star in the room makes me feel better and more comfortable and just gives me freedom to do what I do. Or when I'm in the room with like a very, very like top level songwriter, and when that songwriter tells me, oh, this melody is amazing. Oh my God, it's wonderful, or whatever. Like it just makes me feel okay. Like
it's validated.
Like thank you for letting me know, because I really needed that.
Is there ever a time you're maybe in that songwriting room and they're like, this melody is incredible, and it's something that maybe you don't believe? You know what I mean? Is it hard to kind of stand up for your own opinions in songwriting when you're in those rooms with people that you respect so much?
Yes, but yeah, it is hard, especially when you really respect these people. It's a very hard question. I really try to... I don't think I've ever been mean in a studio or whatever. Like, I really appreciate when the songwriters are being honest with me, too. Like, I always say right away, guys, if you think this idea is not good, tell me.
So you got thick skin.
I'm not gonna be offended, because the only reason, like, there's no ego in the studio. We are serving the muse or inspiration, whatever the inspiration tells us. Like, it's not, it's not proving that my idea is better than yours or yours is better than mine. I would really appreciate if the songwriter would do all the hard work. I'll be like, oof, yes, I like that idea. Yes, I like that idea.
Yeah, you can just sit
But
back. Yeah.
I've found people like that. I was like, you're way better than lyrics. Just I'm not even gonna talk like you, because everything you say is gonna be better than me. So please do it. Thank you.
But I'm sure it feels good when you're proud of something that you brought to the table and you're like, this music, I brought it to the table because I felt so passionately and strongly about it that you don't want to give up on that kind of stuff.
Being an artist, and I think I'm kind of fortunate enough to be the artist in the room, because it depends. If I write for someone else, of course the artist knows the best. Like, if you're in the room and you have this feeling, if you have a vision for it, and if you hear that, if you have a concept to talk about, it's very, very, very heartwarming and helpful to find people who are there that tell us what you see, what you want to say, what you want to talk about. Yeah, actually, I think I'm very lucky because I never had any issue in the studio or with anyone.
I bet. And I'm sure you've just learned so much in the last year as well. Yes. If you could go back in a time machine to you a year ago today, what do you think you would tell yourself? Would it be advice? What would you tell yourself?
A year ago today, which month is it?
We are just got into February. When is exactly a year of Snap? Because I realize we're getting there, right?
So Snap was released March 10th. And February 5th, I think I was doubting if I'm going to go to Eurovision or not. Like, there was like that time. I don't know what I would say. I would just be like, you have no idea.
Just hands off. Yeah, you'll get there eventually.
You have no idea. Just go have fun. You have no idea. Don't you worry.
So if that's tough, how about a year from now? Like, what would you hope to ask yourself a year from now?
Ask myself, oh, how did the album go? How did we do?
I'm excited for that too. And I'm excited to talk about the album, see what we can get from you out of that. But one of my favorite parts before we leave Snap is the fact that you did a version in Italian. To me, this is so cool. Why Italian? Because I'm Italian and my grandparents speak Italian. So for me, like, to hear this,
I love you already.
I love this. Like, why Italian?
Because I love Italy. I love the culture. I love the country. I love the language. I love the music. I think, and I listen to Italian music a lot. I know a lot of artists, and the language is it just is made for music, made for songs. And I just admire everything, the culture, the architecture, the food, wine. Oh my God, is that the perfect place? Yes,
I'm with you 100%. Can you speak any Italian aside from what you've had to learn for the song?
No, not really.
Me neither. And it annoys me because I am Italian, but I just started like Duolingo 2 or 3 weeks ago, so I just decided.
That too.
Yeah, and I was like listening to your song in Italian, and I was like, wait, I can understand some of these words now because I'm learning just the basics.
Yeah, I've tried that, and I mean, I know some words. If I heard it in a song or something, I can perfectly read Italian.
Really?
Without no understanding what I'm reading, I can perfectly, without any accent. I mean, 90%.
Yeah, a little bit of the fingers too.
Yes, like I can read Italian. It's so easy, actually.
Is order a coffee. I feel like when you start those little language apps, like they ask you what you want to learn most, and I was like, I'm gonna order coffee anywhere I go. So that's the first thing I wanted to learn. How many languages?
Espresso.
Yeah, espresso is one of them. Cappuccino's the same word.
Espresso.
Yeah, latte is milk, and so it's like un caffè con latte, per favore. And I was like, that's all I can do. Piacere is my favorite word, and it's nice to meet you.
Piacere, what is it?
It just means nice to meet you. But I feel like I love the way it sounds in Italian, like piacere.
I love anything anything in Italian sounds great. Honestly, everything is beautiful.
How many languages do you speak?
3.
Which are Armenian, English.
Armenian, English, Russian, and what is that word that I made up? Inglarmashan.
Is that a mix of all 3?
Yeah, because I speak Inglarmashan with my friends.
Okay.
Because or my family. Because sometimes I struggle to like think of like a word that I of course know, like in Armenian or Russian or English, but because my head is always like a mess, like I've switched between the languages so often that my brain just sometimes, like, I don't even remember how to say grape in Armenian, or like I'm like and I just throw words of 3 languages in like one sentence.
I mean, I
So
feel like that'd be a
it
good way for
makes-
me to learn parts of those languages. But I'm curious, what language do you dream in?
It depends. It depends on. This is so weird because 2 nights ago,
Uh-huh.
I was imagining that someone's gonna ask me about it. Like
Really?
Yeah, yeah. It's
Something
crazy.
to that.
Yeah, I interview myself a lot to kind of like
To prep for those
prepare
kinds of
for,
things?
like, just in my head, like blah, 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 that's what I think, blah, and yeah. I dream in all 3. It depends on who I see or what's the occasion.
Really? Really? So like when you go home, it's more likely that you would dream in Armenian
Yeah.
and here maybe English.
Yeah, but I don't really remember my dreams, which is very sad.
Yeah, that is kind of a bummer. I want to talk a little bit about the new album. So you teased a new song on your Instagram a couple of days ago.
Oh, which one? I taste a bunch.
Oh, have you really? I think I
just-
only noticed one of them.
Okay.
So what song can you tell us are you most excited for?
So we have like 3 singles that we're thinking to put out.
Okay.
The first one is a piano ballad.
That's
Is
my
that-
jam. I've played piano since I was a kid. Piano ballads are just...
I mean Adele.
Yeah.
And I can never get over piano ballads.
There's something to me that's the most powerful about an acoustic session, whether it's a guitar or piano,
Yeah.
that when you have a feeling and you're a songwriter and you're a singer and you kind of just go up on your stage or your bedroom or whatever it is, and it's just so raw that exactly what you're feeling is exactly what's coming out. You know, you're not really producing things, through electronics, like on the computer and stuff like that. It's literally just you playing things, and I feel like that's the most raw feeling an artist can put out.
I think I agree with that and actually don't too, because what is really important in the song is the feeling.
Right.
And it can be an EDM track that can make you feel something.
That's a good point.
So I can write a piano ballad that doesn't.
Hit the same way
Yeah,
as a full
or-
production could.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter. Like a good song is a good song. That if something makes you feel, then that's the right production for it, even if it's just a voice memo or something.
So as you're writing this new album, how is the writing process different than it was when you're in your bedroom writing Snap?
Well, I have a lot of help.
I bet.
I mean, there are some very good people that I'm working with that I really, really am happy to be working with. I swear to God, I would never think in a million years that I would write with people that wrote my favorite songs ever. As I'm like, okay, why am I here? What did I do? How did I deserve this? What is happening? I can't believe that I'm working with these people.
Do you feel like the same person you were when you were writing Snap in your bedroom a year ago? Like, do you think you're songwriting from a different perspective? Or do you think you're the same girl you were a year ago?
I mean, I definitely grew as a songwriter or an artist, because if I didn't, I'd be worried because there's a lot going on.
That's the point of this life thing is
Yeah.
to change and grow, right?
But as a person, I don't think I've changed too much. Of course, it affects, like this whole thing affects my mental health or my personality. Of course, we all are changing. We can't stay the same all the time as we grow.
I think that's one of the things that I respect about you as a songwriter is I feel like you are 100% real. Like when you're having a day and it's rough and you're stressed and you're busy, like you'll go out and say that. And I feel like that's so important because I don't know, I was always raised like in this household where like you can't always admit those things. You know what I mean? Like sometimes it's challenging to be like, you know what, I'm having a hard day, but I'm getting through it. You know what I mean? And I feel like it's so important to be so, I guess, just able to show that because when people watch it, they're like, I can have a bad day too. And I just appreciate how real you are. Is that difficult?
Thank you. No, not at all. I'm actually, I think the main thing that an artist needs to do, or a creator or whatever, a painter, is to express whatever is going on inside. So that's actually the easiest part.
Really?
That's who, like, I'm expressing myself, and that's very easy. I don't need to. That's actually my job. That's what I have to do to express myself And if I'm sad, I need to say that I'm sad. And if I'm happy, I need to say that I'm happy in like songs, of course. And,
Right.
that's the way of me
That's the
expressing
channel,
myself. Yeah, but I appreciate all these like extreme feelings. That it can be happiness, or it can be extreme depression, or anxiety, or anger. Because when I don't feel these extreme feelings, I don't feel like an artist. I need to be inspired by these feelings, and
Yeah.
I don't care if I cry for hours or I can't sleep, because after that I'm gonna sit down, write my thoughts, and then I'm gonna start writing a poem, and then I'm gonna sleep at 7 a.m. and then I'm gonna be so proud of myself because I just wrote a wonderful poem.
So music is literally your way to channel through those emotions.
Oh, yes.
Like 100%.
I constantly listen to music.
I absolutely love that. I can't do silence. I'm the same exact way.
No.
Like you
I'd
shower,
go
everything.
crazy. I'd go crazy. If I start thinking, I go crazy. So I need music to be like, ooh.
And I've seen you perform. I feel like you bring that to the stage.
Thanks for saying that. I think so too. Yeah.
Is that something you're working on still then? Like, do you feel like you're releasing that on stage a little bit?
I do. I feel like I'm working on doing it more. I'm actually working on my insecurities. Like I'm working on fully trusting my feelings, fully trusting if I want to move this way, I want to trust that it's going to be cool or what, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just my insecurities and like confidence that I'm lacking. But I think I'm getting better at that.
You say lacking, but at the same time, you're now going to be opening up for Ed Sheeran on tour. So, like, obviously there's got to be something there. Like, do you feel like you give yourself enough credit?
Whenever I think about it,
Is that wild?
I can't. There are bajillion artists that could be in my place, and for some reason that's me. It's just crazy to think about it.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta trust that.
Way better than me, way more talented than me. But I don't know. I don't know. Is it the stars? Is it a god? Is it the universe? I don't know who, but something happened, and I think I give credit to whatever made that happen.
Well, I'm so excited to see you on that tour because I feel like you're definitely going to shine on that stage.
Thank you.
What's the thing you're looking forward to next?
I really, really want to put out the album and see the finished result. Like, to see, okay, after all this time, what have we accomplished? And I'm very, very curious to see what people think. And it's not going to change if I love the album or no, but like, I'm very curious to see if people will understand me. Will they find me in the album? Because it's absolute. I just like every line, every melody is absolute me. Like this Rosa Linn in every piece of the album.
I'm sure they will because you give it your all, and I'm excited to see a little bit of that right now.
Yes.
So I think we're going to get off the stage, let you take it here, and perform us an acoustic version of Snap.
Thank you.
Thank you.
With pleasure. Thank you so much.